The hallway echoed with laughter as a student leaned against his locker, tossing a crumpled exam paper into the air like it meant nothing. His hoodie sagged off one shoulder, earbuds blasting music no one else could hear. A group gathered around him, amused by his running joke, a joke aimed at the old janitor sweeping nearby. "Hey, professor," the student called out mockingly, waving his exam. "Want to take a crack at this? Bet you can't even spell calculus." Laughter erupted. Phones came out. One kid even started filming. The janitor paused but didn't look up. He kept sweeping, slowly, as if the insult hadn't even landed. He was just the janitor, old shoes, faded cap, mop always in hand. Quiet. Invisible. Disposable. But then, something strange happened. As the student crumpled the exam and aimed for the trash can, the janitor reached out and caught it midair, smoothly, effortlessly, like he'd done it 100 times. He looked down at the paper, brow furrowing just slightly. "You missed question 12, he said softly. The crowd paused. The student laughed again. "What? You read it upside down?" "No," the janitor replied. "But if you'd applied Euler's formula correctly, your graph wouldn't collapse after 2 variables." Silence. The student's face shifted, uncertain now. "You what?" The janitor walked over to a nearby whiteboard, which had been left blank since the start of midterms. With a piece of broken chalk, he began writing. Curves. Symbols. Derivatives. Logarithmic spirals. Within seconds, the board was full of the very problem the student had missed, and its complete, elegant solution. No stutters. No hesitation. The group was frozen. He turned, handed the exam back, and resumed sweeping. No one said a word, but whispers began spreading across campus. The next day, one of the advanced physics TAs spotted him sketching something into a notebook during a break. It was a proof, far beyond the curriculum. The TA leaned in. "Where'd you learn that?" The janitor closed the notebook and simply said, "Just a hobby." But that wasn't the whole truth. In another life, he was one of the youngest math scholars ever published in a peer-reviewed journal. He'd lectured at international conferences under a different name. He held a patent for an algorithm used in aerospace engineering. But one wrong turn, an investment scam, a stolen identity, a lawsuit he couldn't afford, wiped everything. He disappeared from academia, from the headlines, from the world. He spent years sleeping in shelters, solving equations in margins of newspapers while others waited in soup lines. The job at the university came through a temp agency. No one looked at his resume. No one asked questions. Until now. As the student's exam went viral, #JanitorGenius trending across TikTok and YouTube, people began digging. Someone found an old thesis with the same handwriting. A guest lecture clip with a blurry figure solving impossible equations. Bits and pieces began falling into place. Then one day, the university dean approached him. Not with a broom, but a folder. "We've reviewed your work. We know who you are." The janitor didn't flinch. "We'd like to offer you a position," the dean said. But he shook his head. "I didn't come here for that." "Then what did you come for?" He smiled faintly. "To see if what I built, what they took, was still alive. And I think it is." That same day, the lazy student who mocked him showed up outside the janitor's closet, holding a fresh exam. "Would you teach me?" he asked quietly. The janitor looked at him for a long moment, then stepped aside and said, "Let's start with what you got wrong." The video of them working together hit 1 million views overnight. But the janitor never reappeared in the spotlight. He never gave interviews. Never claimed fame. He just kept showing up. Sweeping. Watching. Helping. Because sometimes the wisest minds choose silence. Not because they are small, but because the world stopped listening. Until it had no choice but to hear again. And when it did, it realized the man they overlooked had been writing the answers all along.